Nicholas Singleton and Kaytron Allen have both announced they are coming back to Penn State for the 2025 season. Do they now have the best backfield duo in college football? We'll talk about it right after this. If you like what we are doing here at Campus to Canton, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. We are trying to get to 5,000 subs by the start of the college football season so we can continue to spread the good word of college fantasy football around the world. Look, James Franklin and Penn State fans have got to be rejoicing right now. There was a realistic shot that both of their top running backs, Nicholas Singleton and Kaytron Allen, were going to head to the NFL after fairly decent seasons. Now, in my opinion, Nicholas Singleton's season overall, much better than Kaytron Allen's, but still, both of them played very well this year. And we were looking at possibly a backfield of Quentin Martin and Cam Wallace, along with Corey Smith. Not that that's a bad backfield at all. We were very high on Quentin Martin Jr. As a true freshman coming out of high school. But bringing back arguably two of the best running backs in college football currently and continuing to bring that duo back into the next season, it's going to be a great thing for Penn State. Now, look, you could make the argument they should be heading to the national championship right now to play Ohio State. It was a very close game against Notre Dame. A couple things didn't go their way. Nicholas Singleton, again, great game, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Drew Allar made some mistakes. He, as of right now, is coming back. That's what he announced, and I don't think that changes. And they are adding some intriguing wide receivers in the portal to help them. Specifically, one, Devontae Ross from Troy, who we really like here at Campus Canton, I think could be really intriguing for them. But they also are bringing over Kyron Hudson from USC to Penn State as well to kind of give them that big target. He's like 6'1", 205. So Drew Allar is still going to have the weapons. But realistically, this team goes the way the running backs go. And Nicholas Singleton and Kaytron Allen are incredible players. So let's talk about them first before we talk about the offense. Nicholas Singleton, we have him as a .954 athlete in our database. That is just incredible. He comes in at a 22 miles per hour. That is the 95th percentile for a running back, and we comp him athletically to Nick Chubb. And I'll be honest, there is some of that game that I see there. Now, he doesn't have the nuances of the running back position down the way Nick Chubb does, but the explosiveness, especially when he gets through those holes and the way he's able to just break away from defenders, there's a lot of Nick Chubb there. And maybe one day he can become Nick Chubb. I think obviously some of the lack in the receiving game as well you could put there, although Nick Chubb not a bad receiver, and neither is Nicholas Singleton. Nicholas Singleton is just such a great athlete, and I think at times kind of struggles with some of the nuances of the running back position. Kaytron Allen, however, who is a very, very good running back when it comes to vision, patience behind the line, hitting the right holes, cutback lanes, but isn't quite the athlete that Nicholas Singleton is. He comes in at a .558 athlete, 18.9 miles per hour. That's a 35th percentile, but does come to an NFL running back that has been very successful in the NFL. And that was one Alfred Morris with the Washington, now the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys. The offensive line last year was ranked as the 10th best offensive line per the C2C winning edge, and they are losing likely 2 starters to the NFL, but they are bringing in TJ Shanahan from Texas A&M in the portal, former 3-star, fairly well-ranked offensive lineman as well. So this offensive line is not going to change. It's going to still be very good. And when you look at what these 2 running backs were able to do last year behind that offensive line, let's say even if it drops 5 spots, right, to the 15th ranked offensive line. Last year, Nicholas Singleton, even though missing time here and there with dealing with some injuries or beat up throughout the season, right? He wasn't fully healthy all season long. Finished as RB11. He had 304.9 points on the season, averaged 20.3 points per game. That's impressive. Again, we're talking about a guy who can run 22 miles per hour at 6'2", 227. I mean, this guy is built like a brick, you know what, right? And he's got the speed. Again, I just think one more year of him in this offense is going to be great for him. We go to Kaytron Allen, who also 5'11", 220, so he is no small running back either. Came in at RB44 with 204.3 points on the year, averaging just 12.8 points a game. I don't see any reason why these 2 guys cannot do it again. And realistically, when you look at that next year's class, right, the 2026 running back class, it is weak. You know, we've seen all these people, you know, Penn State fans watching this video will know who I'm talking about here. Everybody's talking about how Jeremiah Love should be running back 1 in 2026. No, I think for sure Nicholas Singleton jumps him easily as the running back 1 now that he is coming back. I do think that Jeremiah Love will be ranked ahead of Kaytron Allen, though. Again, Kaytron Allen is the kind of running back that NFL GMs are just going to love, right? Like, he is just that guy you can give the ball to on first or second down, just that grinder. He's going to get you 5 yards when you need it, or 4 yards. He's almost never going to take a negative rush. And both these guys are coming back. Like, it's just such a massive win for Penn State, because their schedule next year, I think, is set up for them to repeat what they did this year and possibly make the Big Ten championship, definitely be in the playoffs, and possibly be competing for a national championship again. Nevada, FIU, Villanova, they're going to start out 3-0 next year. Then they get in a bye week before they play Oregon. That'll be a tough game for them, but Oregon's losing Dylan Gabriel. And yes, there's been a lot of talk about Dante Moore, and we trust Will Stein and Dan Lanning, but that was a pretty good game in that Big Ten championship game. Maybe if Drew Allard takes another step forward this offseason, I'm not saying that this is just an easy win for Oregon. I think this is a toss-up game. Penn State could easily win this. I think they get UCLA. I think they can get Northwestern. I think they can get Iowa. Then they're at the Horseshoe November 1st. Ohio State after, though, another bye week. Again, we're talking about now an Ohio State team that's going to lose almost all of those high-end defensive players that came back last year. Travion Henderson likely gone. Quinshon Judkins likely gone. Will Howard gone. Sure, Mecca Igbuka gone. Sure, they'll have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Well, who's going to be their quarterback? Julian Sayin? I don't know that inspires that much confidence in Ohio State fans right now. Maybe Ryan Day goes to the portal again. Who knows? But again, Ohio State, not the team they were this year. And again, that was a game, right? Penn State, it's a one-score game. Penn State had chances to win that game. Then they go Indiana, Michigan State, Nebraska, Rutgers. I think when you talk about having these two running backs, there's a realistic shot. We're talking about Penn State, as crazy as this is to say, is possibly having an undefeated season in 2025 and being, if not that, one loss, again, maybe two, but they should be competing for the Big Ten championship and in the national championship picture. This was Andy Kotelnicki's first year running the offense, right? We know from his time before how great he is at like scheming running backs. This past year, they ran the ball in neutral or early game script situations 58% of the time. That is top 50 in the nation. They had an offensive rush EPA per play at .238. Fairly impressive. Offensive rush total EPA 141.232. An offensive success rate of 51%. That is incredible, along with an offensive rush explosiveness rating of 91. Like, they have been incredible all season long. You talk about where he ranks up here with all these players. I mean, all of those are for the most part in the top 50 in the nation. That is just how good he has been. I mean, when you look at the offensive rush success rate, he's in the top 10. When you look at offensive rush EPA per play, he's in the top 20. Offensive rush explosiveness, now they are a little bit further down in this one. I believe they fall, it's right about the 65 rank still. Again, I think some of that is, Nicholas Singleton was dealing with injuries, and Kaytron Allen's not quite that explosive. He doesn't bring you as many explosive plays as Nicholas Singleton does. But at the end of the day, this offense is going to revolve around these two running backs. And the fact that Penn State was able to get both of them to come back, right? Like, we thought maybe Singleton would go to the NFL and it'd be Kaytron Allen and Quentin Martin. The fact that both these guys are coming back, I think you could look at that as they're running it back one more time, this close to making a national championship this year. I think that they realistically should be one of the favorites heading into the 2025 season, which scares me as an Ohio State fan. But what do you guys think? Again, Nicholas Singleton finished as a top 12 running back in fantasy last year. Can he do it again? Can Penn State compete for a national championship in 2025? Let me know down in the comments. We will talk to you guys again